Like I said, you coached me, but you didn't force me.
Yeah.
I'm a little more aggressive, especially on the investor side, because it's like, we can't play around.
Right.
Like
There's no time.
Yeah.
While you're thinking, somebody's writing that offer.
Literally.
Yeah.
I literally had a meeting with a client last week, and I'm like, hey, they took a week to text me back.
A week?
And they're like, hey, is the property so?
No,
It's not. And so we had to regroup.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Selling Houston Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Broker Bay Courtney O'Conlamo, and broker owner of Collective Realty Co. And I have my esteemed guest and colleague, like you're a colleague now. Do you understand that? So my esteemed guest and colleague, her name is Jaelen Churchill, and I'm going to let you do the introduction. I mean, Jesus, look at her, guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Single, right? I always wait. Let me reel this back. Are we single? That's the first thing we care about.
Of course, I am single.
Tell the camera.
Unfortunately, I am single. I'm open, ready to mingle.
Okay.
But we
Don't
can
be too
pivot.
open.
Yeah, look, we can go down. We can go down that path, but we're not here for that.
So you're single.
Yes.
Tell us who you are.
I am Jaelen Churchill. I'm an investor. I'm a mother, first and foremost. I am a private money lender. I work with a broker, and we lend all 50 states. And I am one of your youngest investors. Or the youngest investor. I might
Technically.
Well, the first.
The first.
One of your first youngest investors. I've been investing for 3 years.
That's
since
crazy.
2021. Is that?
And
3
how
years?
old are you? Tell them.
I'm 26. So I bought my first property when I was 23.
That is just
time just
crazy
goes by.
So let's actually just jump into that. So Jaelen is one of my not only first clients, but also my youngest technically closed client to date. I just put a 22-year-old under contract not too long ago.
Well, good for them.
So you have competition. But this is what we want. Like, this is where and why, we do what we do. And I'm sure you can attest to that now that you're, lending. But tell them how we met and who sold you that property. And how your experience was. Just talk to us a little bit about that.
So I was 23 and determined.
Wow.
And I didn't know anything about real estate. I just started listening to podcasts, YouTube, just talking to people, communicating, just trying to gain knowledge. And I think a lot of people skip that part. Is doing their own due diligence. Even if you're a first-time home buyer, just like skipping, how does the home buying process work? Where do I start? Where do I begin? So I was doing my own due diligence, and I was looking for houses that were like $100K and under because I wanted to pay cash.
At 23?
Yes.
I do remember that.
Yes.
Wow, I do remember that. And that ship sailed quickly.
So how we...
We about to get into it. Jaelen and I go way back, okay?
Now it's
coming to me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So how we met is I'm calling, these listings and trying to be a real estate agent, which I didn't really even know what this is their job. I'm just like trying to hustle and figure out and get to these houses. Right. And so I called this one listing, and it's this little like townhome in the hood, and Courtney's representing them.
Me? Wait, tell me. Wait, don't put the address out there.
I don't remember the address.
But I had a townhome for sale.
Yeah, I think it was like
And this was 3 years ago. This was during COVID.
Yeah. I think what happened is the investor, he owned like a multiple.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
That was in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm not allowed to say that. It wasn't in the hood. Jaelen, you kidding me?
All right, it's not in the hood. It's just in a developing community.
No comment. Plead the fifth. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you got in contact with me, right? Which I want to take a step back too, because these listings for agents, they forget that it's not just about getting the listing. It's not just about, getting a seller to say, can you sell my house? This is what comes from that. Valuable leads that now, 3-4 years later, we're sitting here. I've sold you a property. I'm really waiting on property number 2. I just thought about that. I know you own several now, but just not all in Texas. But saying that to say, I just want agents to also remember that they need to, capitalize on these listings because, here you are, tried and true.
Right. So I think and so that was the thing is I called you and you actually...
Ooh, tell the truth. Hey, we don't bite.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but
Listen.
You actually coached me into not buying the property.
Okay.
Was
it because of your needs and wants?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Then I'm going to do that every day.
I think it's good for agents to know, the first thing you did was, hey, conversation. We went through the whole spill.
Yeah.
You knew what I was looking for. And then you say, hey, is there anybody representing you?
Right.
And I was like, I kind of have someone, but not really. But we didn't sign any agreements. Just as someone I knew, and I was just like, "Hey,
do you still know her?"
I think it's I really don't know who it is actually.
Okay.
But they just started, so it was more like and I knew I needed someone more experienced. You knew that.
Yes.
I was new, so that's not a good combination.
Right. Really good point.
But then I remember, I can remember the conversation like it was yesterday with you.
Let's do it. Let's do what I said. Because one thing about me is I typically am not changing the way I handle professional situations. Yeah. So everything that you say will likely be something that I still say today. So I'm very curious. So you called on the listing. You were interested in that property. I remember it was under $200, so it was very inexpensive. And that's what happens. I reel you guys in with those inexpensive listings, right?
Yeah.
And then you start to realize what the reality is. Right. You do a drive-by, and maybe it's a gentrifying community. You ask around or look at the school ratings, and you notice that, they're not that great. So now you're thinking about resale value.
Right.
So what kind of things did I say to you?
Well, one of the first things you said was drive by the house.
Yes.
If you're close, drive by it. I think you were getting a lot of people interested but weren't familiar with the area.
As soon as they drive by, it's over.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So I drove by, and I think there's a huge roof issue too, which, a new investor, I was all for a rehab. I'm like, okay, I'm about to hop in and do this. And it's probably it's for the better I didn't hop into that.
Yeah.
But you told me you're drive by it first, look at the area, look and see what's going on.
Right.
I believe afterwards we weren't, you said you can run me some comps.
Yeah.
But just really think about it and consider if this is really what you want to do.
Right.
And after I drove by it, I was like, no.
And you know what? Full disclosure too, it wasn't that bad of a property. It actually sold for over asking price.
Really?
To somebody that wanted to live in it.
Yeah.
But there's something for everybody. There's a property for everybody. Your comfort level is not going to match someone else's. What happens typically though is when you get that price point, everybody and their mother wants to see it. And we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead and drive by. If you're pre-qualified, great. If you drive by and love it, then we can set up a showing for you to see the interior. Because one thing about real estate, you can never change the location.
Right.
So that's why it's important for me to, focus on telling people to drive by, researching communities and areas before you just start looking at those pretty pictures online, because I'm notorious for representing properties in the best light possible, which is why I get phone calls, from people like yourself, as well as, anybody that's interested in that price point. Okay, so I told you that. You did it. You didn't like that. So tell me about, what did our journey look like when we actually did decide to buy that property? Honestly, all the way up in Conroe.
This is why I recommend people to you, because you coached me, but it was just like, hey, think about these things, think about those things. So at this point, I pivot and I'm still looking for properties 100K or less.
Yeah.
But obviously you're going to find rundown.
Yeah.
If not rundown, then it's going to be like a duplex or a condo where you're going to have a high HOA. So it messes with your cash flow. At the time, I didn't know this.
Oh my
But
gosh,
it's just all of those things. And so I remember calling Courtney and I was like, hey, instead of me paying cash, why don't I get a loan?
Duh.
And
That's probably what I said. Did I say that?
And you were like, yes.
You 100K buyers. Please tell me that you're looking for a lot, because if you're not looking for a vacant lot, please don't call me saying that you want a house for $100,000. Not in Houston. I know they got them in Detroit.
Yeah, they have them.
I think
other
they got them in
places.
Chicago.
They have them in Baltimore.
They don't have them here. So
Ohio,
please,
yes.
If you're coming to Houston, please stop, because if you have an 100K budget, I need you to be looking for a vacant lot, and then we can build you something for maybe a couple $100,000 more.
Right. So yeah, and it was just like an epiphany. But she never once said, you need to get a loan. Like, what are you doing? You were like, okay, you want to pay cash? We're going to start looking for houses.
Yeah, and you're going to see what's out there.
Right. And I was like, the minute that happened, we were on. You're like, okay, here's this. And, we started working through it. And I was like, I keep hearing about this house hacking thing. Mm-hmm. So let's do duplex, multifamily. And remember, we saw the one. It was a brand new construction. And you kind of encouraged me to, talk to the builder. Yeah. And he was there. And
was this the one we bought?
No, they both were new construction. We put an offer in. It was I think in 5th Ward.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. That was a sad story.
A sad story?
Yeah, because remember, they basically took it off or sold it right from under us.
Yeah.
It was during, so full disclosure, this was during COVID. So you're looking at what, 2.6? What's your interest rate?
No, 2.2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 2.2 interest rate. Okay. Do you see the stars above her head? Okay. We're not going to see those again, most likely. So just give it a rest. But this is the product of 2.2 interest, but it's also the product of high competition, because that's what we experienced back then, to the point where thought we had an offer accepted, did everything right. I typically never tell a client that they have a house until everyone has signed. Mm-hmm. And that was a perfect example of it, because technically they hadn't signed. Right. And if you haven't signed, even though they give you a verbal agreement or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, it is not solid.
Right.
And they just basically sold it right from under us for somebody that offered well above
what
more. We did, way more than we were willing to do. And we had to bow out, but it was a good property.
And I think
liked it.
That's also important, because I got pre-approved for, I think it was like $250 or something like that. And we pushed the envelope to $270, and they wanted more. So I think it's important. Like, obviously we could have gone back to the lender and be like, hey, can we go 300? Right. Can we go 320? But let's be real. Like, we still have to think about cash flow. We have to think about what are the current rents in the market, because we have to get it rented, it's a duplex. I wasn't paying the mortgage. I still haven't paid the mortgage, not once.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. But
oh yeah, we're not.
Right.
It's been some time. We could.
Yeah, we could.
It's been 3 years now.
You're
the epitome of that.
Right. So, yeah, I think that's really good. Also, It's like, okay, don't forget how much you can really afford.
Yeah.
Like, you can go back, you can negotiate, but let's be real here. Like, you can't push your numbers because you want a property.
Right.
You have to stick to your numbers, especially on the investor side.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, and people just think, like, especially in this market, it's hard to find deals as an investor right now.
Thank you for saying that.
Harder, I'll say. And people just are like, oh, okay, well, 40, we can go 50 or whatever. But no, you have to stick to your numbers.
Okay, so tell me how you've used maybe things I've taught you, the experience of buying your first property. How are you using that in your career now in terms of the lending side, since you quit that job?
Yeah. I mean, I think I even text you maybe like a few months ago, and I was like, I've just taken so much from like just being around you, like listening to you on the phone. And I've referred plenty of people to you.
Too many.
Which is really a testament to our experience together.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that number one is I try to make myself always available within boundaries.
I love that.
Because your customer service, your availability, it really like it stood out amongst anything. So whenever I'm talking to a client, I always lead with, this is my personal number, contact me anytime, and I'll usually answer.
Yeah.
You know, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns. And I've also attracted a lot of first-time investors. Big surprise.
I know, right?
And they can be a lot, but I also love educating them.
Yes.
Like, I love walking them down that experience. I love, like, you know, helping them run the numbers.
Yeah.
Or just the entire, like, I get excited when people are like, hey, I want to invest. And, you know, and I usually tell them, like, okay, slow down.
Right.
Because that's what I had to do. Have you gotten an FHA loan yet? Are you a primary homeowner yet? Because you do need a house. I do think house hacking is where everyone needs to really begin, because you can save money. You know, now there's a lot of people saying, like, oh, you don't need to, you know, you can buy real estate without investing. Yes, you can wholesale, or you can sub to.
Yeah. Or
there's a lot of different ways, but I think the best way, in my opinion, is to get a FHA loan. Well, really is to get your credit score up. Right. But we can go down that rabbit hole.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, just starting with your primary home. And I think, you know, dealing with clients, even how I deal with them, like with grace and like with understanding, I got a lot of that from you. Because you were very patient with me. Like I said, you coached me, but you didn't force me.
Yeah.
I'm a little more aggressive, especially on the investor side, because it's like, we can't play around.
Right. Like, there's no time.
Yeah.
While you're thinking, somebody's writing that offer.
Literally.
Yeah.
I literally had a meeting with a client last week, and I'm like, hey, they took a week to text me back.
A week?
And they're like, hey, is the property so?
No,
it's not. And so we had to regroup. And I told him, I said, hey, when you're ready for this, because I'm not going to waste my time. Yeah. So when you're ready for this, you know, let me know.
What was his response to that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Have you heard from them?
Yes.
Oh, good.
So now.
So he took heed.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also did the kind of coaching. I was like, okay, we need to connect. Tell me when you're free twice a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10. That's when we're meeting.
Right.
We're going to stick to that meeting, and we're going to stick to the plan.
Good.
Because if you want a property, this is what needs to be done.
So you sound like a baby Courtney. Two things I want to highlight, though. Number one is this was 3 years ago.
Right.
So still 3 years later, that is common practice for me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm available. And when I'm not, I'm either going to have somebody else that is in my place, or I'll let you know very quickly that I'm not, right? And then we get back together when I am, which is usually within an hour, 2 hours max, right? So communication is super important.
Yes.
When you're dealing with these clients. And I'm glad, if you took nothing else, that is amazing. So I really, really like to hear that. It's super important. People are scared out of their minds going through this process. And when you are not responding, their mind is running wild. They're on Google. Yeah. They're on Instagram looking at reels. They're on podcasts maybe. And I think that it's important for them to be getting their information from an expert. Right. That's why I constantly make myself available, because I think it's important to just know and put the information out there, especially to these fresh investors.
Yes. And I agree with that, because if you're not available, there's another realtor, there's another lender, there's another anybody out there ready to take that client from you and be available.
Right.
And so I think that hand in hand with the level of explanation that you're willing to do, you're willing to deep dive, and you won't get off the phone unless someone understands the process or whatever they're asking.
That's funny.
And you'll ask multiple times, like, are you sure you got it? Yeah. Are you sure?
There are so many ways to describe the same thing. I say this all the time. So since there are so many ways to describe the same thing, I can immediately sense when someone's not grasping the concept, when they don't understand it fully. You know, it's very easy for us to just kind of quickly pass it off and say, oh yeah, I get it. And then sure enough, 2 minutes later, you're repeating that question. Or if you really understood it, you would have gotten it, you know, in the middle of that. So that is super important. I'm always also, though, just to piggyback off that, I like to make sure that before we get off that phone, there is a plan next. Yes. Not call me when you have time, you know, not let me know if you have any questions. We're not doing any of that. What is the next course of plan or action to get you to your goal? And a lot of times we have to still do preparation for them, whether it's credit, savings, etc. Sometimes they're ready now. And if they tell me they're not ready to apply when they're really ready now, I want to know why. There's a reason. You're scared. There's fear. What's behind that fear? Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of my consultations end up being an hour, because I want to get to the bottom of it first rather than show you 15 houses and then you're scared to submit an offer.
Yeah.
So you writing that down? You say?
Yeah. I'm taking a mental note because
you got to make people make a decision. Yeah. And usually it's hard for them to make a decision because of the fear. Usually. Yeah. And then when you get them out of that, then they start to understand a little bit more.
Yeah, and I work with a private money lender, so this is not FHA, this is not conventional. Mm-hmm. This is quick. The whole investor side is everyone's moving quickly. Yeah. And so I recently connected with someone, and they're like, I say, hey, this is what I do. I'm an investor with I'm a lender, private money lender. Mm-hmm. And immediately they're like, oh, I want to flip and fix houses in Houston. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So when do you want to start? And they're like, oh, well, interest rates are high right now. The market's bad. And so I said, so do you want to...
What do you say? I need to know.
I told him, I said, do you want to fix and flip houses in Houston? He said, yeah. I said, okay, then that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Don't worry about the interest rate. Don't worry about this. I can help you get the zip codes. We can run the numbers together. We can figure it out. But don't say, hey, this is what I want to do, and then come back with excuses. Yeah. Because I'm not accepting that, and neither should they.
Good. See, I see the aggression that you're talking about. I see it.
It's there. Trust me.
In this little cute little situation, it's there. Yeah. Tell the people it's there.
It's it's there, honey. It's there.
So do you deal with mostly male clients? Because most investors by nature typically tend to be male. Yeah. So I'd like to know a little bit about how you dominate, being a female. It's hard enough in real estate in general, yes, being a female broker, real estate agent, etc. But when you're an investing lender, it's cutthroat. Yeah. Like, I don't even know that I've seen or worked with any female investor lenders. Yeah. Especially on that side, hard money.
I think it's just really, that's where like knowledge has to come into place. Okay. Being confident in your knowledge. Yes. Because not only is it kind of hard with experienced male investors, mm-hmm, I have people who, like, I'll get leads from my broker and they won't call me back. And I'll have my broker reach out to them and they'll have a whole conversation. And so I'm at a place right now where I'm like, look, as long as we get the deal done, because my broker that's still my deal. Yeah. If he has to soften it up or whatever, fine.
Soften it up. I like that.
Yeah. But I also have to deal with recently this past week. I had a lender. We brokered a deal out to a lender. Okay. And the loan officer was a piece of work.
Okay. There's a lot of that in real estate.
And, my broker, he kind of reminds me of you. Okay. He leads with a lot of grace, but he's also very assertive. Okay. So I let him, I'm like, hey, you need to get on this call. Like, we're going to do a conference call and we're going to get to the bottom of this. Yeah. Because I understand his frustration, but at the end of the day, we all have the same common goal. Yeah. It's to close this deal. Right. And to get paid. The investor wants the house. We want the deal. Let's just get to the closing table. Yeah. That's all that matters.
I have to stop you because this is very surreal just sitting across from you like this. If we should have a situation where they put up your picture or your video when you're spraying that champagne, when I sold you that house, I am not going to cry. I swear to God.
Are you about to cry? Oh my gosh.
No, I just cannot believe that you're like sitting here.
Oh, you're about to cry. You're going to make me cry, Courtney.
My makeup. Can I get a tissue?
Wow.
I haven't cried in like a few months, right? Of episodes?
A few hours.
But no, I typically don't cry. But I'm just like sitting here looking at you and I'm like, who is this girl? No. I mean, you were always like really, I think I need a moment.
Oh my gosh, Courtney.
I don't know. Look, see, they're not used to me crying either. Like, really, I just remember, you knew what you wanted. Don't get me wrong. But to see you like checking people. Well, now I can laugh. Yeah. Like to see you checking people about this, like because you know and because you're confident, like that's a big deal. And not a lot of young people even feel confident or comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And we need more. We need more people, that are willing to take those risks, that are willing to understand the process so that they can check people.
Right.
Let me get it together, because it is about like really making sure that you stand up for yourself, you stand up for your clients, but more importantly, that you really are, correcting people, calling people to the carpet when they deserve to be there. And, letting these men know.
Yeah.
That's probably what got me emotional, honestly. Letting men know that women bring value to these real estate transactions too.
Oh, Courtney.
So I need a break. Let me dry my lashes because I can't. So I'm back. The queen bee is back. I lost it. I lost my shit for a moment, thanks to Jaelen.
It's me.
I got emotional because I know how much we as women, especially Black women, go through to, establish our territories, to prove to our counterparts that we are, equally fit to represent clients on a high level. So to hear, how old are you again now?
26.
To hear a 26-year-old, woman trying to break into the industry and basically just seeing that it still happens, it struck a heartstring. So I apologize for my outburst, okay? But I'm back. And I think that the perfect way to kind of segue is into our game.
Okay.
So we're going to play a game that doesn't require crying.
Thank God.
And you just looked at me. You're like, what's happening?
No, well, I'm usually like super emotional. So I'm like, okay.
I know, you really are.
Yeah, I am. So I was like,
I don't even know how that happened. But you know what? I'm glad it did. Because I think that we need to bring awareness to this.
Yeah.
I think that men and women both have a responsibility. Women have a responsibility to challenge situations like that, which you did effortlessly. And men have a responsibility to realize that it exists.
Right.
And, to try to make it an even playing field, because I can rumble with the best of you. Questions? Don't piss me off with these questions.
Oh my gosh.
They know I don't like questions.
Don't shoot the messenger.
How many questions we got today? So let me tell everybody about the game. While they're fumbling, trying to, find these questions. No? Okay. So I'm just going to wait. Let me just stand down.
Okay, well, I can.
Are these tricks?
No, it's just a new game.
Oh, okay.
Hi. All right, so we're going to play the 5-second rule questions.
Oh,
game.
boy.
So
she said, oh, boy.
So I'm going to name off. There's 5 different questions. You have 5 seconds to answer each question.
One?
Yeah, just the first thing that comes to mind.
So this is funny because I used to have all the time in the world, and now you're just trimming it.
Wait, well, is it what? Well, I know the answers?
No, it's just the first thing that comes to your mind. 5 different things.
And are we pivoting 1, 1, 1, 1? Okay.
Interesting. So who goes first?
So get ready. Who's first?
I'm kind of competitive.
Courtney. Why don't you, or you know what? Actually, guess first.
Yes,
Jaelen.
yes.
Okay.
Jaelen, you're up, honey. All right. Name 3 reasons to be embarrassed.
Sweat.
Courtney.
She said 3. You said 3.
The laughter. I don't know. A bad haircut. And okay. Sorry.
So 5 seconds is up.
Yes. It's
okay.
Up. It's up. Okay.
So for me, crying on camera.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
I don't know. My mom walking in on my podcast tape.
Hey.
Oh my God. Beep beep. I don't know. This is kind of scary to play.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be real estate related. I'm like, what's LTV?
They get crazy. These are not real estate related questions. Right, not the rubbing.
Look.
What's next?
All right, next one. Name 3 classic Black movies.
Oh, me first?
Yes.
Okay.
Friday, Paid in Full. Damn.
Damn. Okay.
All right, Jaelen, go.
You can't take mine.
Love Jones.
Oh.
Baby Boy 2.
Oh, she cheating.
Look,
She won.
Wait, hold on. There's a second baby boy.
There is a baby boy too.
Y'all didn't have any rules.
Is it
to the
classic?
games.
No, 'cause I've never heard.
Depends.
I gotta go look that up when I get off.
Dream Girls.
Oh my god, girl.
Look, don't be a hater.
Okay, all right,
Dream Girls is a
Jaelen,
good
you'll
one.
go first this round. Okay. Name 3 things you say when you stub your toe.
Oh,
Damn it.
you are a damn it, girl.
I am. I'm like hell.
Okay, that was
and-
3.
Oh,
You got it. Yeah.
That's me. Oh hell.
All curse words. Now,
Sorry.
Courtney,
I mean,
you can't.
that hurts. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Mom. I don't know
Mine
whose mama
are
you
bad.
All right,
What
you
the
ready?
There's
Oh my
one.
gosh.
Okay. Okay, that's another one. And damn.
are.
Okay. All
Good
right.
enough.
Damn is like
Is
staple.
my mama still over there?
Mhm.
I think she walked out. All right, Courtney, you're up.
Yes.
Name 3 terms for hooking up.
Getting down. Sexing.
Oh, you're so old. You
Uh,
showing your
I'm
age.
just trying to be nice.
You
I'm
showing
trying to be
your
nice.
age, honey.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what you
What?
say.
I'm like, Pound Town.
Oh, okay.
Just left Pound Town. I ain't gonna sing the rest, but y'all know Pink and Brown.
Just left Pound Town.
Okay, we on that note.
Sneakily. Okay.
That was 5 seconds, but that's a good one. Listen, we would have took Pound Town and ran with that.
I am like far removed. I can't.
That's like,
I should have said Pound Town. though.
yeah. I was like, you know that one.
Yeah.
See, I knew Sneaky Link. Pound Town's still a little new.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Last one. Who wants it? Who wants to go first?
I think
It's my turn, I
yeah.
believe.
Okay. All right.
Actually, no, it's my turn.
Oh, it is your turn.
Yeah.
She's so bossy.
I'm trying to win.
Baby Courtney.
Okay.
Look at you. That smile.
Last round. Name 3 ways to cure a hangover.
Oh, I know this.
What's it when you put it on your the powder? Okay, let's just do
If you don't
water,
know it, then you don't know.
Pedialyte, and ibuprofen.
Okay.
BC powder.
I gave you that.
The Pedialyte. Come on, Gatorade. Okay, Gatorade. Tylenol.
Yeah.
That laugh is crazy.
Tylenol. She
I
said
usually
basically
don't
everything she
get
said.
hangovers because I drink the great old yak here. You know, y'all tequila girls, y'all be getting hangovers and stuff.
Well, it's
so.
low calories. So.
Oh my God.
Y'all ready to hear who the winner
This
is?
is true.
Oh yeah, it's me.
Jaelen.
She's winning?
yeah,
I
Jaelen
won.
won.
Oh, gladly. All
Well,
right.
I
Oh
would've
my
lost
God,
if I knew
I'm
that
such a loser. Shots.
I would have lost if I knew that's what.
Oh my
Look.
God. Okay.
I'm just gonna take mine.
So you know what? You just keep winning. You're winning in life.
Yep, and that
Because I have a gift for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What do you think's in here? First of all.
Something that has collective on it.
We'll see.
Oh,
What's your
something
second
from
guess?
is it Cypress Treats? Is it?
Oh, shameless plug. Say it again to your camera.
Sweets. Cypress Sweets.
Oh, where is it?
In Cypress.
Oh, girl. It could be.
I'm sure.
Open it. You're opening it on camera.
Okay.
Move your mic, baby. Like, just push it out like that.
It's hard for me to like hide my reactions. So if I don't like it,
Oh, I can't wait to see your reaction.
oh boy.
Miss Pound Town.
I'm not that I've ever been. I don't go to Pound Town. There's nothing here.
If you keep looking, there's something there.
There's nothing.
You are
here.
not. Put your head in there. You're not looking. Put your head in it, Jaelen.
Why y'all all kiki caca?
So actually, Courtney.
What? Her gift is in that bag. Don't do this. Hold on. Keep looking. It's there. You're just not looking good enough. See, that's what people. Okay, you got me. You got us.
Damn.
So I do have a gift. That's a lot of damn paper.
Yeah, you're so beautiful.
So, oh my God, the gift.
Y'all are so clever. Y'all are
Aw, I see your gift, girl. And you're so right. You're always right. Why are you always right? You were one of the clients that typically was always right.
Yeah.
So you were right. Welcome to Collective Realty Co. No.
My turn to cry?
Liar. You're fake crying.
No, I saw you wear this hat the other day on
I
Instagram.
was wearing it.
And I was like, what? They got hats? And I was
merch?
like, oh, I need
we got
one.
merch.
I saw it and I was like, oh, I need one.
So it's yours.
Thanks.
And if you adjust it, it could fit on the curls.
Let's not interrupt the curls. But yes.
But Jaelen, no, we really, really all know and love you here. For real.
Thanks.
The staff, me. No, stop. You're such a liar. I can't. You can't even fake it. Yeah, you can't even fake it if you want it. But thank you for coming. You took your shot anyway. You were just so funny. I can't. Yeah. So before we kind of end on a wonderful light note, what else do you want to tell the people? Where can they find you? Where are you hanging out? Off and online.
Yes.
Not just online.
Well,
what are you doing to get clients? Like, tell us a little bit about that before we leave.
I haven't actually done a lot of marketing at all.
Okay.
It's just been a lot of word to mouth and people I know.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be like a huge blessing once I do start marketing because I'm like, hey, you can find me at JAE Funds and Flips.
Okay.
On Instagram. I don't have much presence there, but I'm still, that's where you need to follow me. I will be posting content soon.
Okay.
Obviously this podcast will be going on there. Super excited about that.
Love it. Good.
But I would really just say like my market audience is really real estate investors.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who, in an era where there's moguls and gurus and a lot of people selling fake content.
Yeah.
One really big passion and goal of mine is I just remembered I was at a place one time where like I just needed the information. Like I had the execution, I had the funds, I just needed the information. And in a world where everybody wants you to pay for their course, sign up for their free webinar where they don't give you any information. Like I really take pride in
dropping free game. Yeah,
and making myself available to new investors and investors who want to get into real estate. They don't know how, they don't know where to start. You can come to me,
I love
J
that.
Funds and Flips. And yeah. So I have a really big passion about that. So yeah, I'm super excited to work with new investors. You have to be willing to listen and willing to execute, and then I'll help you with the rest.
Yeah. And one thing that I really want to end with too is it's super important for us as professionals to make sure that when they do come to us and they're seeking this free information and, this free knowledge, that we are pouring into them genuinely and not just, trying to make it a transactional situation, listening to what they have to say, correcting them when they say something that isn't true, which is a huge one. So I really love that you're pouring into the people. Yeah. I'm not surprised one bit.
Yeah. I just, everyone just, it's like people, they are like, here's some knowledge, and then they just swipe it from you right when you're so close. And I just want to be that person where people will say like, hey, if I have a question, I know I can call Jay. Right. Like, hey, if I need advice or if I want to refer somebody, because everything's about building relationships. Yeah. Like I was a new investor, but on that one duplex, you've represented every time I needed a renter. Yeah. You represented me on my other property, even though it didn't, go through. But it's just like, you build those relationships, you establish those connections, and then you don't have to social media market. You don't have to search and find clients. Clients will find you.
They will find you. They'll gravitate towards knowledge, expertise, complementary information. Right. And that's another thing that I want to say to the agents before we close out is that referral-based business is humongous. Yeah. So if you spend your marketing dollars, marketing to people that refer business to you, then you will notice that there's a lot more of a return. If I look through all of my Rolodex of, people and contracts and transactions, even within the last 6 months alone, Tara's like, how many gift cards do I have to send? Yeah. So I actually really enjoy doing that. I like to incentivize my clients. Highly recommend that agents do the same. So that's a good segue to closing. I really, really, really hope that you love this episode. You may not see me cry for a few more episodes, but if seeing me cry helps somebody out there to better establish themselves as a business person, to take that leap of faith as a buyer or as a seller, you know, to execute their real estate transactions, then the tears were worth it. So in closing, thank you for watching, and we hope that you guys are staying tuned for the next episodes.
Bye, guys.